Shall I start, sir? Do I introduce, sir, now? Shall I start? So, very good evening to you all, and heartily welcome in the International E-Conference organized by Sri Kumaraswamy Mahavidyalaya, Ausa, District Latur. And the keynote speaker for today's session is on dais, Honorable Mariah Edgington. So first of all, I heartily welcome Madam for the dais. I welcome the chief organizer of an international conference, the ideal principal, Dr. M. Betkar sir, and also welcome all those dear attendees who joined the session. The topic for today's presentation is harness the power of your mind and change your life. Now, the topic is going to present, as I have mentioned, the keynote speaker, Mariah ma'am. So before I request to Honorable keynote speaker, Mariah ma'am, within a short, you introduce yourself and start your presentation. You are most welcome. Yes, ma'am, please. Everybody are welcome. Please continue, madam. You are most welcome. Please unmute, ma'am. Please unmute. Unmute yourself. Just click on that speaker. Mic. Yes.
There we go.
Yes, ma'am, please.
Yes, you've got to love it when things like that happen spontaneously. So there I was on my mentor's yacht off the coast of beautiful Malaga, Spain. Hors d'oeuvres, drinks, music, and good company, enjoying the warm day on the sparkling Mediterranean Sea. There was laughter, great conversation, and joy all around. It was a thrilling experience just being there. Suddenly, I was overcome with my love for the sea. Rushing to the edge of the boat, I dove into the shimmering blue water. Emerging from the water, I looked up to see the astonished faces of my boatmates, applauding and laughing at my audacious spontaneity. I'll tell you the rest of that story as we go along today. Hello and greetings to everyone, wherever you may be tuning into from around the world. I'd like to thank you all for being here, and a special thanks to Dr. Betkar and his team for inviting me to share my talk today. My talk is titled, Harness the Power of Your Mind and Change Your Life. I'm Mariah Edgington, CEO of Mandate to Elevate LLC, a company my husband Byron Edgington and I founded to elevate people and show them how to live better, more fulfilling lives. Many people today are exhausted, overwhelmed, and fail to realize the choices they have around that. At Mandate to Elevate, we know it's been proven that our mindset accounts for up to 95% of our actions. Are you aware your thoughts become your reality? Here's an example. You thought about tuning in to this talk to support Dr. Betkar and gain more knowledge. People who are hungry for knowledge are always looking for ways to enhance their lives. So you may understand this theory even better than you realize. Just as we do at Mandate to Elevate, Dr. Betkar had an expansive vision to elevate women and provide them a platform to bring their message to the world. Clearly, his thoughts became a reality, or I wouldn't be standing here speaking with you today. Harness the power of your mind and change your life. This shows that your thoughts do indeed create your reality. What enables you to take advantage of this reality is what we call your mindset. If Dr. Betkar had concluded that it was not possible to do this, I would not be speaking to you today, and you would not be enjoying my words. This shows the incredible power of our minds. As a critical care emergency flight nurse, I was a highly trained professional that one would have thought I had all the courage in the world. But unfortunately, at that time in my life, that was not the case. My mindset, my inner critic, and my imposter told me otherwise. I often felt like a fraud when I would step out of the helicopter, going to pick up my critical patient. I felt like people who were there would laugh at me. I felt inferior. My inner critic and harsh judgment of myself held me back often from even going higher in my profession as a nurse. I believed all the negative things I'd been told all my life, as we often are as children. We take on these messages that are not even true, but yet we internalize them and we begin to see ourselves as negative and less than. After retiring from nursing, I came upon the study of mindset. And 3 years ago, before I learned about mindset from my mentor, just 3 years ago, I would have never been on this stage. I would not have become a best-selling published author, a keynote and TEDx speaker, and the CEO of our company. I would have convinced myself that I was not good enough. Through the study of the power of mindset and discovering that I can change my mindset by the choices I make and the decisions that go around that, I now know the only limits I have are the ones I place on myself. Just like diving into the Mediterranean that beautiful day, that Mediterranean Sea drew me in. And that is how I made the choice to trust my instincts. Do you believe that your potential is unlimited? Your potential is unlimited. I'd like you to take a few seconds here to consider and write down 3 self-imposed limits that may be holding you back from reaching your true potential. We all have them. But at Mandate to Elevate, we believe that everyone has a precious gift that they need to share with the world. What is holding you back from that precious gift that you possess within yourself? This is one of the biggest reasons we ask you to examine the limits you put on yourself. And we all do this. I still do, even after all these years of mindset training and understanding those limitations. In limiting ourselves, we keep that gift, that special thing we need to share with others, hidden and tucked away. So right now, I would like to have you write down 3 self-limiting beliefs that you believe is holding you back. What is it you think is limiting you from moving forward? I'm going to give you several seconds here to write those down. This is so important. So take a few seconds, think about that, and write down 3 self-limiting beliefs that you have today.
Can we ask a question?
Yes.
Yeah. You ask the question.
Excellent topic. I am enjoying very much. As you are mentioning, the world is a small place now. We should must support each other. Thank you very much and God bless you.
Thank you. So I'm going to trust that you wrote down at least 1 to 3 items that are self-limiting. And I want to thank you all again because you have invested your time. You know this is an important topic. Do you think you're limited on time? Here's the simple reality. We've all got 24 hours each and every day. So it's what you do and how you're investing your time. Notice I didn't say spending, and that's a mindset item too. My husband and I often refer to this as your words have weight. Each word that we select needs to be positive. Review what you're thinking and see if you can find the positive in it. By using the word invest instead of spending your time, you'll make better use of the time that you do have. Now we're talking to an audience that's specifically geared for women. And that's a big self-limiting belief that oftentimes we carry as women is gender. It's been our experience, generally speaking, women tend to underestimate their power and their agency. We're women, we should roar. We have so much to give the world. And Dr. Betkar's initiative in elevating women has proven women's voices can and need to be heard. Beauty is often another self-limiting belief. However, once we understand that when we have a high regard for ourselves, that our mindset tells us that we are more than enough, and our beauty comes from within. Remember, judgment begins in the mirror. Now, this is an important fact, and I want you to write it down because we don't think of this very often. Judgment begins in the mirror. And when we can start loving and praising ourselves for the qualities we possess, it changes how we see ourselves. Right now, today, you are a magnificent person inside and out. You are more than enough. And never let anyone talk you out of this fact. I'm going to give you a resource today to help you change that limiting belief. Another limiting belief is money. We know people who are broke. Through the use of their mind, they can turn their lives around. What they have done, they've realized that their mind is the most powerful asset they have. Most people fail to tap into their full potential. And education is another important self-limiting belief that people often have. But we know there's very successful people, even billionaires, have come about that without a college education. Think of Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. And what about status? The 44th president of the United States was an unknown commoner, son of a single mother. Barack Obama had the mindset that yes, he could, and he did. Intelligence. That's another one. Now, my friends, I'm going to tell you something that I only recently found out about this. I am a late diagnosed autistic woman. I have ADHD and dyslexia. I did not read until I was in the 4th grade at age 9. I'm chuckling because now I'm a best-selling published author. My husband and I created a company, and we work with neurodivergent, neurotypical couples all over the world who struggle with their differences, including the inner critic and imposter, helping them to harness the power of their minds and change their lives forever. Once I couldn't read books, and now I write them. That is the power of mindset. And lastly, I want to share one more self-limiting belief that we hear often, and we hear it, and it's age. And people look at us and they see our age and they say, but my husband and I began our mindset training after retirement, when many people feel they've achieved all they're going to do in life. For us, this couldn't be further from the truth. We've harnessed the power of our minds and changed our lives. And now are bringing mindset training to thousands of people all over the world. Since I stopped my self-limiting belief that I was not good enough, we've spoken on stages in Belfast, Northern Ireland, on a TEDx stage, on cruise ships and sites in the US and virtually around the world. We're acting as role models for people who are limiting themselves. And you, my friend, have the power to do this as well. Much to the amazement of my boatmates that day off Malaga, who thought I was too old to be frolicking in the sea, I learned to lean into my past emergency nursing background, and I saved a person from drowning on that day. Had I not trusted my skill and applied my new understanding of mindset, I might have let my age hold me back. But I can tell you there is one person alive today that I know of because of my dive into the Mediterranean that day, and my mindset was key in that. Now, one of the things I am most proud of that I created due to my mindset is something I call the I am affirmation exercise. One thing that has stemmed from this is a favorite quote of mine, because this has made such a profound difference in me. And I know you are sitting there hearing my words and you feel my energy, and I want to share one thing. My favorite quote from the poet Rumi: "The beauty you see in me is a reflection of you." Because yes, my friend, you have this in you today. And it takes a shift of mindset to bring that forward. And because of that, I created a tool, an exercise that I call the I am affirmation exercise. During my training, I learned not only that our thoughts create our reality, but whatever follows I am follows you. I added, make it positive. I want you to write that down. Whatever follows I am follows you. Make it positive. Get rid of those negative things that you're telling yourself in your own mind. They have no place. There is no room in the inn of your brain. I want you, starting today, to start repeating positive affirmations after I am. And so the I am exercise goes like this. I am aware my thoughts create my reality. I am brave. I am confident. I am determined. I am energized. I am focused. I am gracious. Now I'm going to stop at the G and let you in on a secret here. As I said, I'm dyslexic. And my brain goes partway through the alphabet and it gets stalled and sidetracked. And so I have to start over to tell myself where I am. So I go back to the A, B, C, D, E, F, O, G, H comes next. I am healthy. I was doing this very exercise, training one of my daughters. And on the third day we were doing it, she stopped me and said, Mom, you don't know the alphabet. Now, before my mindset training, I would have been upset and blamed myself and shamed myself for how could I be so stupid in not knowing this? But I don't do that any longer. I listened to her. I said, you're right. I never noticed that. And I was able to laugh about it instead of blaming or shaming myself for not knowing my own alphabet. My brain works differently. And I am so proud that I'm able to stand here in front of you and present this important information to you. I am also proud to let you know that this I am affirmation exercise is so important. It's been translated thus far into 22 languages and is helping people around the globe to harness their power of the I am. As a matter of fact, it's translated into Gujarati. And if there's anyone out there who would loan us their native language and translate this affirmation exercise, we would feel it was a gift that kept on giving. Now, this affirmation exercise is freely given away on our website, www.mandatetoelevate.com. And if you know someone who is exhausted and overwhelmed and struggling with feeling less than, and their inner critic and imposter beat them up, they need to start this today. And I'm going to encourage each of you to go onto the website and get this affirmation exercise so that you can start building yourself up instead of bringing yourself down. As I mentioned, we need helpers to translate it, and they're going to that. You will be able to see the languages it's in already, and look and see, is there a language you speak or someone you know that speaks and isn't there? Please reach out, because this is so important to so many. It's changing their lives. We know that people around the world are beginning to own their value and know they are more than enough. And this is just one of the many ways my husband and I are showing people how to harness the power of their minds. Mindset is what some call habits. It's what we've learned from the time we were born. Here's an example. Think of the language you speak. It would be very strange if you grew up and spoke Italian or Portuguese or Danish or Russian instead. But most of us never question our behaviors. As a matter of fact, many people live their entire lives not understanding the power of choice. When we become aware that our thoughts create our reality, our thoughts create our reality. And our results are based on the decisions and choices we make. We learn to entertain.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Better and more positive thoughts. We found this to be especially true with couples. Imagine the better choices and decisions you can make, the amazing life you could have if your partner understood the power of choices just as you do. And just as our thoughts create our reality, also what you focus on expands. Let's think about that. What you focus on expands. Okay, now I don't want you to think of an elephant. Do not think of an elephant. Okay, let's be honest. We're all thinking of an elephant right now. True? It's impossible not to. And this is where positive mindset comes in. What we focus on expands, so make it positive. Think of what you do want in your life, not what you don't. And as you begin to narrow your focus on what you do want, what you don't want falls away. And once again, your default becomes positive. Your life will change in ways you never imagined, and you'll be able to harness the power of your mind and change your life. Now remember, for more free resources, contact me on LinkedIn or go to our website at www.mandatetoelevate.com. I'd like to thank you, Dr. Betkar, for having this opportunity to all the women and to everyone who joined us here. Journey well.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the wonderful presentation. Now it's a time for discussion. I request dear participants, if you have any problem, any query, please come ahead and discuss with keynote speaker. Dear participants.
Hello, how are you?
Abha Patak ma'am, please ask. Abha ma'am. Dr. Swan Shukla sir, please. Yes, ma'am, please. Please continue. Wait, Shukla sir, please. Just wait.
कुछ कर रहे थे क्या?
We are getting your voice, ma'am. Please ask.
मुझे कुछ
Abha ma'am.
हाँ बोलिए.
You have raised the hand. Would like to share or ask something? Please come. Yes.
Good evening, Dr. Betkar sir, and good evening, ma'am. Wonderful presentation you have made, and really the mind is a key, for the life, and we have to understand our mind, the mental setup, and no doubt, first we have to identify our own mind setup and where we are going, and once we realize this, I think we can correct what what are the flaws, if there are any kind of flaws. We can correct it. Yes, definitely we can do this. I remember one of the, story I read somewhere that there was some, fair at Japan and people were walking, there was very much rush and people were walking, means there was no much place as such. And one person felt that one of the person is constantly putting his head on his shoulder, but he was not having that enough, place also, space also to turn. And when the thing's over, he just turned back. He found that one dead person was moving along with the whole crowd. And he was keeping his head down on his shoulder. I think, we are in the same race. We are just following each other and we are just moving. And we don't find, our own dimensions. We don't find our own world. We are not finding out what we want to do and what is the purpose of our life. And we have lost somewhere in such a kind of race. Our minds are dead like this. So definitely what you have said correctly, placed correctly, that yes, one has to understand very correctly like this. So mind has a great control. I belong to medical field and especially homeopathic field, and we strongly believe in the mind. And most of the diseases we consider them, they start from your mind setup. And when we are taking care of patients, their mind setup is also very important. I think you are also from the same field. And their mind setup is very important. Some people, even with the great, disease condition, they are very hopeful and they survive longer. And some of them, they lose their hope somewhere, and the surrounding environment also becomes same, similar kind of thing. And the person lost the hope, and he has. We had seen this in COVID-19. The person aged 90 years, he was suffering with the COVID. Nothing is left in his life to do, and he was very much enjoying his life in a hospital, while 38 years old person lying over there, and his mother was a nurse and sister, taking care of this boy, and continuously running behind and checking the temperature and SpO2 and this and that. And this boy becomes so anxious because of that environment. Unfortunately, he lost his life. But the 90 years man who was, with a great mindset of, listening to the music and songs, and even no one was visiting him, his family members were also not having such a great hope for him, but he survived. So I think that mind setup is really a key, what I feel. Only my question is, many of the times we develop our mind setup because of our family conditions, my business conditions, the surrounding, the environment, the people who are around me. I develop that kind of mind setup. But if suppose I realize that there are some negative aspects are there, and once we realize, I think 50% work is over. So how to come out with those kind of influences in our life? Usually it happens that parents, the peer pressures, the teachers, so many influences are there. If you'll make a list, so many influences are there, the television, the social media. So how to take out those, what people will say, that is the biggest threat to the humankind, what people will say. And because of that, they are not doing anything. So what do you think about this? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much for your comment too. And am I correct in saying it's Dr. Shukla, sir?
Yeah, Swanand Shukla.
Shukla, yes. Thank you so much. You're very astute because within your question, sir, you have found the answer. You are exactly right. You have said that these outside influences, they try to bring us into their negative field. And many of them are successful these days, and that's why society continues to listen to TV that tells you all the negative things that are going on. They obviously, you've heard what bleeds leads in the news, and so people are drawn to that negative vibration commonly. However, I sense, especially from your speaking to me in this brief time, that your mindset is one of understanding, and one of knowing that you can change your world by looking at the positives, focusing on what you do want. And in doing so, I have an example of this. My mother is tends to be negative person. Now, she does not go that way default around me, because I have said, well, Mom, these are where I'm going to be talking with you. And when you start talking about these things of the world that are negative and bad, and it could happen this way, and what about this? That's when I have to say, okay, I know we got on the phone to talk about how you're doing and whatever it is. But if you're going to go into other negative details that likely will never happen, because isn't it true that most people talk about all that worry and burden in their life that could happen, that hasn't happened? And so if we can help them train their mind to look at that positive, to bring that in and set your own boundary, that will change your life. So way to go. Congratulations. You're headed in the right way.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mariah, and thank you, doctors, for putting this together. and making this available to us. Mariah, my wife, and I are both watching and listening to you and being very inspired. I just want to just give a quick testimony to say that from interacting with you, I came to understand that I am neurodivergent also. And by saying that, I'm no longer weird, I'm unique. And I have talents that are a blessing to the world if I'm willing to accept them and utilize them. So thank you for the materials that you sent me that are available to Elevate to Mandate, because they're very, very helpful. And I'd encourage everyone else to take advantage of them. So please take advantage of these materials that Byron and Mariah have made available, and your lives will change. My wife is here sitting with me, and our lives have changed. We're working together and studying the resources that we need so that we can combine our gifts and talents and have greater influence. So with that, I want to thank you again. Namaste, and thank you for everything.
Thank you. And it's true. When we hear that, and I'm going to touch on this briefly here, but many people around the world haven't even heard of the term neurodivergent. So with your permission, Dr. Bedkar, sir, I will speak about that for a moment. Okay.
You can afford her materials to me? Of course.
So we know that something called neurodivergence is a recent phenomena. It's actually an umbrella term that was coined in 1998. And under that term lays the diagnoses of autism, of ADHD, of dyslexia, dyscalculia, dysgraphia, dyspraxia, OCD, and Tourette's, and a few more things. And many, many people are realizing now that they have a neurodivergent component in their life. And it explains why there's 20% of the population that are statistically shown to be neurodivergent. But we are the people who many, many times people would say, oh, you're lazy, or you're dumb, or you're stupid, or you are not trying.
Your head as hard as a brick.
Yeah. We heard a lot of things throughout our childhood and youth, and we internalized those things because we believed that we were not good enough to function the way 80% of the population who's neurotypical did. But the fact is, our brains are wired differently. And so once we get that realization, we now can let go of the shame that we carry. We can let go of the blame of ourselves, and we can become more than what we ever imagined. And as we tap into that power, as you had said, Ronald, we now know we have a responsibility to share this important information. So Dr. Bedkar, sir, I cannot thank you enough for allowing me to speak today.
Aishwarya madam have raised the hand. Please, ma'am.
I just want to say hello, Maria ma'am. I know you know me very well, and here maybe many respected gentlemen and people might not know me. I am very much acquainted with Maria ma'am and Brian sir, so I know what they are really bringing up and what they are really up to. They have helped many people to recognize their own inner strength. So I request you, all of you, that please do get in contact with them and get in touch with them and look into your own way of thinking, because it really helps you to not only function but also be confident in your day-to-day life, and that's quite important. And I feel that she's a great catch that we all should celebrate, and she's a great friend of mine, and I'm really blessed and happy to have her in my life. So she has bought many of good things in my life. I have learned many things. So I look forward that our people from India as well. I'm also from India. So I say namaste to everyone. And this is a great opportunity coming across her words and her teachings and her techniques. It's a great way of looking at things confidently, strategically, and also practically. So when we are always finding ourselves in difficult situations, we do have, as in humans, we do have difficulties to work from a very brighter pattern. So she really helps our minds to function, take some pausing time and to, digest ourselves in such a state that we gain that confidence and that level of energy so that we can proceed confidently. So I always look forward to her events and programs whenever possible. I just join her, and I always request everyone to do so that they also gain the same level of confidence and positivity that she has really shared with us. So thank you, Maria ma'am and Brian sir, and thank you all of you for giving this opportunity.
Thank you, Ashwarya. I so appreciate you.
Good evening to one and all present there. Ma'am, my question is, you started the session with the self-limiting beliefs. And I wrote them down when you asked us to write. The first thing I had was my body, actually. Sometimes what happens, our body is not supporting the mindset we have. We might be, pretty fat, or there could be some nerves or I'm going through a leg injury, which is actually making me suffer. I can't stand for too long as an assistant professor. So there are some things which are actually acting as a hurdle. How would you suggest or help me to set my mind right on these terms, ma'am?
That is a very good question. Thank you for bringing that to us. We know that our mind can help us, and we've known for many, many years, and the research is clear that when we focus on our health, the lack of health, the dis-ease, the disease can be put aside. Now, that's not to say that my husband and I both agree that people need to use modern medicine, because we are not mental health providers. We are only going from what we know in our own personal lives that has worked for us. I suffered a career-ending back injury and 2 surgeries after the injury happened. I was unable to do much of anything. And unfortunately, I didn't have this kind of mindset at the time. I struggled for many years. Now, with the mindset I have, even though there are times I've had difficulty where I've had radiculopathy or kind of tingling or whatever in my leg and back, and challenges such as that, with my mindset, I am able to look at life in a different way. I can take my focus and put it on other things and let go, because we know, and of course we've read this in different texts and even spiritual texts that say when we focus on something, we suffer and we have a lot of pain and we have a lot more injury, and it builds on itself. So pain may be inevitable, but suffering does not have to be. So I encourage you to look at something positive in your life that's happening. And I also will encourage you to begin writing. This is one thing I did that changed my life. I write, I'm so happy and grateful for, and I list 5 to 10 things that I have in my life right now. And that programs my mind to be looking for things that I have that I'm grateful for. And then I go on and I say, I'm so happy and grateful now that. And this tells my brain I'm looking in the future. And so for you, you may say, I am so happy and grateful now that I am perfectly healthy. My body is completely healed. I love my body. I love my mind. Put in there where you see yourself in the future. This will help you gradually change from how it is right now to where you see yourself in the future. And I want to encourage you to download that I am affirmation, because you are a beautiful person. And I want you to know that I am 100% sincere. That beauty lies within you. And once you can harness that and that understanding, look at yourself, see that inner being, that beauty within you, and let go of what society tells you. Thank you very much for your question. And I wish
Thank
you
you, ma'am.
all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Barbara,
you, sir.
you're on mute in case you're talking. Yeah, Dr. Bedkar, I see Barbara, madam. I think her mic is on mute. So I was telling her to unmute, so in case she's talking. Maria, you were awesome. You really inspired me.
Thank you so much.
I'm from abroad, from USA. So, Dr. Bedkar, I would definitely want to connect with you. So I have put some information in the chat. You can take a look at it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Namaste.
Thank you, sir. Now I move towards the vote of thanks. Sri Kumaraswamy Mahavidyalaya Ausa, District Latur, from Maharashtra State, is organized an international e-conference as well as world record series. As our principal sir have mentioned that from 4 years the series was running and still it is running. And today in an international conference, the topic was harness the power of your mind and change your life, which have been explained by today's keynote speaker, Honorable Mariah Edgington, ma'am. I forgot to mention from where she is. She is from Florida, United States. So, ma'am, have explained the topic very clearly in a sincere language or sincere words in a very simple manner, where Madam have covered all the aspects regarding the topic, what is the harnessing power of mind, how to harness power of your thoughts, then harnessing the power of mind, why it is so important and how to do it, then different benefits of harnessing the power of mind, like enhancing the physical health, boosting our happiness, as well as increasing our success. Now, all the points you have covered in your lecture so clearly, ma'am. So I'm very, very thankful to you on behalf of the organizing committee members. You have paid your valuable time, though you are in haste, but still you were there on the screen. So very, very thankful once again to you all. Then I thank the chief organizer of the series, our sincere and ideal principal, Dr. M. Betkar sir. Also thanks these personalities, Honorable Dr. Swanand Shukla sir, Pratibha ma'am, Ronald sir, Aishwarya ma'am, and at last Session sir for discussing with the keynote speaker and also sharing some views in the session. And I should not forget to thank all those dear attendees who have joined from the Maharashtra state and from the out of states and also from the international stage. So once again, thanks to you all. Now I request, please fill the feedback link which is given in the chat box. With the kind permission of chief organizer, I declare today's session is over. Thanks a lot to you all once again. Thank you, sir. You can do the same. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maria ma'am. Bye bye.
Thank you so much.
Maria ma'am, thank you for the advice of I should start to write. I will start doing that also, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Best to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye bye, ma'am. Take care.
Thank you all. Happy Sunday. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Session sir. We are happy.